You ever been asleep but still awake? If that makes sense. I'm laying in my bed, eyes closed, not ready to get up. And then all of a sudden, just this thought came to me, so I had to write it down. Sometimes we hold on to stuff so tight that we wind up pushing it away. The only way to truly allow it to come towards us is to let it go. Because whatever is meant for you is meant for you. And it will always come back. Don't ask me where that came from. I don't know. There are times where I feel like I was dreaming, but I can't remember my dreams when I wake up. But I do remember that. But it's funny that I was thinking about it while I was asleep because it like ties into my story of I try to hold on to my relationship so tight that it did more damage than good. A lot of times that's exactly what we try to do. I don't know why our initial response when things are going wrong, we're terrified, we're so afraid to just kind of let it be. You know, we kind of feel like the more we come at it, you just have this thought in your head where it's like, I can't let it go, I can't let it go, I can't let it go. I have to, like, I have to do something about this, like, right now. But like I said, that does more damage than good. I know somebody who just went through a situation like that. And maybe that's why it was it was on my mind like that. Um, Part of self-reflection. I'm telling you, when you really have a chance to sit by yourself and not have no outside noise or distractions, you really have that time to go over things. You know, the thoughts come in your head like, what could I have done for this to be better? Or what could I have done for that to be better? You even have thoughts of, I don't know, you just have a whole lot of different thoughts. Like, as I'm on here right now, I have so many thoughts running through my head. Um, I've gone back and forth with maybe if I would have done this, or maybe if I would have said that, it would have been different. Which I'm sure, we all know that sometimes it's not what you say, but it's how you say it, where you have a different response, a different reaction. But I also know that, like I said, whatever is meant for you is meant for you. So really and truly, there isn't anything that you can do that will turn a person away from you, because if that person is meant to be in your life, even if y'all separate, even if they step away for a minute, in time they'll come back. That is where patience comes in at with the Lord, as well as relinquishing control, trying to control the situation, trying to control the narrative, and realizing that I'm not in charge of nothing. If God wants it to happen, it will happen. If God doesn't want it to happen, it won't happen. And it's just as plain and simple as that. Take, for instance, you could do everything in your power to try to predict the outcome, and the outcome is nothing like you thought it would be. And then you don't even have to try towards the situation. You don't even have to try to put that much thought into it to try to get it to be what you want it to be. And then it turns out exactly how you want it to be. I know. I'm just getting up, so hopefully what I just said makes sense. But we gotta relinquish that control. I don't want nothing that's not mine. I don't want nothing that feels forced. Even though there are certain situations, certain things that I would have liked to turn out differently, through my experience, like I said, I'm learning patience. I'm learning how to relinquish control. In this, I'm even learning how to deal with my fear. You know, my fear can either I have to change positions in my bed because I'm just not ready to get up. Get my phone on the charger. But I was about to say something about fear. My train of thought just went away. I used to be so fearful of losing things, so fearful of being rejected, so fearful of being abandoned. And I've thought to myself, like, where does that come from? I know exactly where it comes from. Like, no, I'm not using it as an excuse. But when that parent is not there in your life, it does tend to affect you a lot more than you will let on. It makes sense why you sometimes feel the way that you feel or react the way that you react. But I'm learning how to let that go. I'm learning how to learn that that wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with that. You know, sometimes I think maybe my parents weren't really meant to be together. They were just meant to get together to have me. Ever thought about that? when it comes to you and you wondering why your mom or dad is not around, maybe that wasn't in God's plan. But the plan was always for you to be here, though. Just take a moment to, like, just really let that sink in. When I heard somebody say that, I don't know, it just made so much sense. Because I have wondered, like, why did I come from a two-parent household? Why wasn't my dad there? But it made so much sense. Like, maybe that was never the plan. They was just supposed to meet, have their encounter, have me, and that was the end of them. But it was but the beginning of me. But anyway, and losing something that I wanted so badly, it has helped me with my fear. It has helped me to understand that no matter what I did or didn't do, if it wasn't for me, it wasn't for me. And then sometimes things can be for you, but just not at that time. There is a time for everything. And sometimes if we go before God and try to do something about it His timing, it's not going to work. I know it seems like I'm like all over the place, but if only you guys could see inside my head all these doggone thoughts that just be coming. Sometimes it's like, stop, please stop. But it's a part of me, it's a part of my story. I always say, though, who is for me will understand, they'll be able to follow, they'll get it. And who's not for me, they won't. Plain and simple. Man, when I say I used to fight so hard, though, to try to hold on, and I don't know, maybe some people might feel like it's just being nonchalant with it. But I'm just at the place in my life that no matter how much I want something or care about something, I'm okay with letting it go. Am I afraid to let things go? Yeah, who wouldn't be? It's only human nature. But I've always been a firm believer in what's for me will be for me, and what's not is not. A lot of times that's part of our problem when things don't work out. We take it so personal. We always question ourselves and blame ourselves. Why? Why is that the first thing that we automatically do? But just being by myself and always sitting with God, finding time for Him. I have to. If I don't, I will go crazy. But just sitting with Him, He gives me so many downloads, revelations, just things that I need to self-reflect about. Y'all hear that? My dog snoring hecka loud. You would think it was a whole man in the bed with me as loud as he was snoring. Sometimes I be wondering, like, what you tired from? You don't have no job. But here I go. Look, here I go getting distracted and getting off. Not being focused. So, I don't know. It's been too long since I've been on here. I told you I was going to share my story. And I'm back on it. Don't be afraid to let go. I never thought I would get to this point where I will be okay with it. I even pray to God all the time, like, what's for me is for me and what's not. If it's not, take it. I don't want it. I don't want to have to force anything. I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to work so hard at something that's not mine. Now, we all know that if it's worth fighting for, then yeah, without a doubt. But can you imagine fighting for something that was never yours to begin with? This was something that you wanted, something that you went against God for, and you like, no, I'm going to have it one way or another. No matter what you do, it's still not going to work. Like, through this, man, I've learned to not be so fearful of letting things go. I have learned patience. No matter how bad I may want something, I have to understand that it all happens in God's timing. There's nothing that I can do to speed that time up. There is nothing that I can do to keep it around. So it's also taught me how to relinquish control. I'm telling you, boys, self-reflection is something else. You get to self-reflecting on things. And gotta have all type of things coming at you. See how it's so peaceful in the morning? That's why I like getting up at a certain time, because it's nothing but peace and quiet. Gives me time to lay here and think. Gives me time to self-reflect on things. Gives me time to just chill out. But God, this is how I start my day in the morning. If I don't start it like this, it's not going to be good. I thank y'all for listening to me. And like I said, I know this might have been all over the place, but that just tripped me out, me laying here. And I'm not quite ready to get up yet, but yet that thought just came into my head. So I felt that I needed to expand a little bit more on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and chill out for a little bit longer to myself. Get up, get